Hi everyone, hello. Auto assembly has been and it's gone, and I'm back. Wow. Let me just start by saying wow. It was 2 days of my life which was probably the best ever. Yeah, probably the best ever. This video is going to be quite long. It's going to be about an hour long, I reckon. So, probably. So, if you don't want to watch this, you can just tune over to another video. My haul isn't going to be in this video. This is purely me talking about auto assembly in front of the camera. So, if you want to go, by all means, go away now. But yeah, so, auto assembly 2012. What was it like? Well, let's start by the Friday. I weren't there on the Friday. I was in a hotel in Shepperton, which is on the outside of London. It was a Harrison's hotel, and to be frank, it was shit. Yes, it was pretty bad. Didn't get much sleep that night, and so on the Saturday morning I was quite tired. I was going to auto assembly, drive up to Birmingham. But the moment I walked through those doors of the Hilton, overwhelming excitement. Excitement engulfed me. That was the feeling. And then seeing people that I'd seen off YouTube, like, oh my goodness, there's so and so. It was amazing. We came in at about 11, just before 11. Watched the opening ceremony. That was brilliant. May I say, Carlisle Prime, Dave, who was one of the organisers there, who was commentating on the opening ceremony. He has a great stage presence, really good stage presence. So basically all the different guests came out to the front, introduced themselves in time with some music. I do have a little bit of montage clips I recorded from that. You can see that a bit earlier. I'll post that in another video because otherwise this video will be far too long. But yeah, watch that. Clapping so much. My hands afterwards were so sore from all the clapping we did. It was amazing, and the cheering, the crowd were just loving it. Oh, it was, you had to have been there to be able to live the atmosphere. It was really great. And then afterwards, went round the dealer hall. Now, when we first went into this hall, I was like, wow, it's quite big. And then I looked at all the stalls. Wow. Stalls and stalls of Transformers. Plastic crack. I was in heaven at that point. I was literally in heaven. All I'd done is go in there, watch the opening ceremony, look round at some plastic toys, and I was already enjoying myself. Shut up, printer. Sorry. I'm filming this on the day after I got back. It's morning and it's sunny, so yeah. But anyway, I was walking around one of the stalls, got to the back of the hall, when suddenly someone from behind me said, "Hey, you're Robert." I turned around, and it was Skullgrin 140. Wow! I mean, wow. Somebody that I watched on YouTube actually came up to me and said hi. I was amazed. And you are the first person who I have to say a very big thank you to. There are 3 people in this video I'm going to say thank you to. You are the first one. Thank you very much for coming up and say hi. And being so friendly and so welcoming. And just making my first auto assembly so special. I really mean it. Thank you very much. So we had a talk. We talked about some Transformers stuff. Then I went back to looking around the dealers' rooms, and then for about the next several hours, I basically went between the dealers' hall and the bar, which was in the reception. So, and started to accumulate quite a lot of plastic crack. Yeah, I got quite a lot of stuff. Yeah, money just went, literally, it just disappeared before my eyes. Oh. But the dealer room closed at about 5 o'clock, and just after that is when I met Skullgrin again. I'm sorry if I keep calling you by your YouTube name, but I know this is terrible. I know this is really terrible, but I never actually got your proper name. I am so sorry. Man, you're amazing. I'm so sorry. I owe you a pint next year at the bar. Remember that. I owe you a pint. Okay. So, yeah. He came up to me and was like, hey, how are you doing? How's the day been? Yeah, it's good. He's like, oh, have you seen anybody else? And I'm quite a shy person normally, so I don't really go up to people and say like, oh, hi. I was sort of like, Plus, there was people I know, but there weren't like people that I really wanted to go up to talk to. I did want to talk to all of them, what am I saying? But, and he was like, oh, over there is Firestorm, so-and-so, I can't remember the rest of it. You might like him, go and have a chat. I was like, alright then, cool. I went over, and what did I do? I got the wrong person, but fate would have it. That wrong person actually turned out to be the right person. Really? You're probably thinking to yourself, how so? Going up to some person and going, hi, you're so-and-so, and then them going, yeah, no, I'm so-and-so. Well, I went up to this person, I was like, hi. He's like, hi, I'm Adam. And then I realised it was the Glasgow philosopher. Wow. Second person who I owe an enormous amount of gratitude to, and thank you. Really, thank you very much. From the heart, thank you. Because you also made auto-assembly special for me. You're a great guy. Hope that customising records are coming along quite well. I want to see a video on those. Want to see a video? Yeah. Don't think I'll let you get away with that easily. Oh, so we talked for a bit, and he went off and I went off. And as I was walking back to the bar, who should I walk into but the third person who I owe so much gratitude, probably the most out of the whole weekend? It was Ray. I love mess. Now, as a quite a big fanboy, I'm like, inside of me is just going, there's so many people, it's so. And I went up to him, he recognised me from doing a video on YouTube, which was cool. We talked for a bit, and then he was like, so, are you, like, sit down with anyone? I was like, no, not really. He's like, oh, come over to this table. And so I went over to the table with him, and there was Skullgrin, Adam, Diatlas, and George, Exaggerated Elegy, who I got to shake his hand. That was great. And he introduced me. It was great. And then for the next 3/4 of an hour, we just sat down talking about Transformers, which is probably the heart of AA. I mean, people go there for like just the plastic, but how could you not? It's more about community than anything, and I realise that now. Because before I was like, oh no, I'm just going to go there, buy some toys, maybe talk to a couple of people, but no. It's about meeting people who like the same thing as you. So, that is cool. And on this table, you have Ray, and then you have Skullgrin. Now, these two are completely two different people when it comes to Transformers bios. Like, Ray couldn't give a care about them, and Skullgrin, like, believes that they're, like, heart of a character. So it was fascinating listening to their conversation about which is better, having no bio. It was great interacting with that conversation, and then talking about Mega Zarek, which Ray hadn't heard of. You have now? You have now. Oh dear. But yeah. And then that went on for a good while, and then after that it was the cosplay competition. Now, me, Adam, Ray and Skullgrin, we all waited until quite a few people had gone into the hall where they were showing the cosplay competition, and I didn't really want to go to the cosplay competition, but those were, and I was like, oh well, I might as well go along. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We got in there, we sat down on the table because there weren't many left, looking at all the different costumes these people have made. There were some really good ones there. There was a Deathsaurus, there was an animated Megatron, a Universe Prowl, from the new MMO, and a couple of Primes, a couple of RCs, but it was brilliant. And watching a cosplay competition with Ray is one of the most hilarious things ever, because it's just great. I can't tell you how, it's just really, really fun and enjoyable. But after that, it was over. Actually, the winner of it was someone who basically turned the idea on its head and came as Scraplets from Transformers Prime. You know, the small little things that go. Yeah, you came as one of those. So that was cool. That was very cool. And then at the end, once he had won it, he was like, "Oh, I can't take this costume home, so you can have these." And loads of people just ran up to him and bundled him just to get these small little scraplets off of them, including Adam, who then brought it back to the table. And I had a look at it. It was well made, very well made sort of little piece. Very well made. But, oh, it at that point in the evening, it was so good. Oh, it was just amazing. And at the end of the cosplay, Ray and Skullgrin, they went off to talk to other people and do some other stuff. And then there was some special messages from all sorts of people, including David Kay, voice of Megatron Armada. And then they had Greg Berger on Skype, which was it was now. To be fair to Greg and to the people at AA, it wasn't their fault, but the Skype connection was shit, and so basically, when Dave, Carlo Prime, asked something, it would take 2 minutes before you get a response. So you could see the problems there. But he apparently, Greg Berger had been trying to get a signal all day from his hotel. I don't know if he was on a laptop, probably. But to be fair to the guy, he did it really well, even despite the problems. And thumbs up to you guys. Great. That went on for about 15 minutes. And then, then we saw the Auto Assembly guests for 2013. Yes. So, the first guest for next year, and I have got a piece of paper with me because I couldn't for the life of me remember the names, but I got a piece of paper. The first one is Neil Kaplan, who you may say, who the hell is he? I've never heard of him before. Is he special? Well, I don't know if you've heard of, say, a Transformers series known as RID. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. Well, you know Optimus Prime in that? Yeah, he voiced him. So, that's going to be awesome. The second guest they announced was Dan, and I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but Givizan, I can't say the second name. Basically, you probably already know who it is. You know Generation 1 Bumblebee, the guy who voiced him, he is going to be there, which is freaking amazing. And when it came to him being announced, it was so funny because they said, right, here is Dan to reveal who the second guest is, and he had a piece of paper in his hand in this video. It was like, and the second guest is, and he pulled out basically a picture of himself and went, oh, it's me, and then the cheers and from the room, it was amazing. When each of these guests were announced, people just stood up and clapped and cheered, and it was great atmosphere. And then finally the third person, who probably most people have heard of, is Steve Bloom, or is it? Yeah, it's Bloom. Sorry. And if you don't know who he is, then where have you been living? I mean, everyone in that hall knew who he was because they just stood up instantly and went, yes, yes, yes. But if you don't, I'll tell you anyway. You know Starscream in that Transformers series that you've probably not heard of, say Prime? Yeah, Starscream in Prime. He did the voice for that. He also did a Rescue Bots Heatwave and some other non-Transformers characters, so that is going to be freaking awesome. It will be brilliant, really good. And after the guests were announced, everyone was so hyped up. It was amazing. And it hadn't even got to the best bit yet. I mean, this was the evening. It was coming up to about 9 o'clock at this point. And I was like, excitement had just flooded my whole body since the morning. It was just amazing. I can't tell you the feeling because you'd have to have been there to be able to feel it. But yeah. And then they had the script reading, which was something I was looking forward to a lot. And at this point, Ray had come back to the table. And so it was me, Ray and Adam. And we were sitting there watching the script reading. You had Townsend Coleman Michael Bell, and oh my god, I forgot the third guest. I am so sorry. It'll probably come up underneath here. If I do remember, I'll say later. But yeah, basically the guests. You had three main voice actors. So you had Animated Sentinel Prime, Generation 1 Swoop, Generation 1 Prowl, Paul Iding, that's it, and Generation 1 Preceptor. And that was only 3 of the members of the script reading. You then had, I think it was John Paul Bove, who was the narrator. He was hilarious. He was really funny. You also had another attendee that went up there. I don't know the name. She was a woman. And then you had Chris McFeely on the end. So yeah, it was a recipe for disaster, really. No, it was great. It really was. I'm not going to say much about the storyline. You'd have to have been there to be able to hear it. And I'm sure there'll be a video down the line somewhere of them saying, "Oh, this is it." But it was funny. Some of the jokes were like, oh, really? But most of them were pretty funny. They were. It was well written because it was written by Simon Furman. Very well written, Mr. Furman. Thumbs up to you. Do good script reading. Yeah, and so by the time this had finished, it was 10-ish, 10 o'clock, something like that, maybe 11. I don't know. And like at this point, most people left this hall and went either to the bar or just went to bed. But me, Adam and Ray, we stayed for a bit because they had the disco and they had karaoke, which was pretty funny, may I say. It was, you had some people who could sing. You had some people who could sing very, very well. And then you had others who were just like, they couldn't sing, but it was still great anyway, because everyone just loved it. How it worked was basically a person sung karaoke, then they had just playing some music or a song, and then it was back to the karaoke. And Ray, bless your heart, you did try and get me up to sing. I know. You tried to get me to sing, and I am so sorry that I didn't. But trust me, next year, I make a promise now in this video, next year I will sing. And I will keep this promise, I will sing. I've got a whole year to think of a song, so I will sing then. But, oh, wow. It was good. Probably the best person singing, well, I don't know his name, but probably you lot do, because you know most of the people on YouTube. You know the Japanese Headmasters cartoon, yeah, you know the introduction song to it, which is quite good, yeah. He sung that, the full thing, in Japanese. Wow, it was amazing. It was something truly amazing to see, and just go, wow, that guy's got style. He's got talent. That is really good. And then later on, he sung the Car Robots thing, the full one, in Japanese, which is, for anyone who doesn't know what Car Robots are, it's a Japanese version of RID. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then, but the highlight of the karaoke for me was when Ray, you got up to sing, and you were one of the best people there singing wise. You have a great singing voice. Boy, you can sing. You can sing very well. He sung Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, and it was something quite amazing. Now, I did record a bit of it, and I'm going to show you in a minute. So, please, like, the camera is crap that I was using to film it with, and because the sound was so loud, it comes out in the camera as so you have Ray's great singing voice, and then you have a but I'm sorry, I can't help that. It's just this camera is quite shit. So, but trust me, take it from me, he has a great singing voice. So, here he is.
Oh yeah. You could have a steam train if you would just lay down the tracks. You could have an aeroplane flying
trust me, he has a good voice. But after that, really, everyone sort of went their separate ways. I mean, I stayed in the karaoke for a bit, listened to a couple more people sing, and then went down to the bar, and kept going between the bar and the karaoke. And then, who did I meet first? It was later on in the bar that I met up with Adam and Ray again, and we were talking, and then I just noticed over the shoulder that there was a suitcase on one of the tables with what looked like some Japanese toys. And I was like, oh, I'd seen them earlier and thought there was some manga. Now, I'm not into manga, so it didn't really appeal to me. It was only when Ray and Adam went over that I actually realised it was Galaxy Force stuff. And Andy, Cobra Commander TFW, was selling it. Now, I am a huge fan of the Underbase and Moonbase too, so I was like, ah! And looking through some of the stuff, I did buy something from Andy. I won't say what because you'll have to wait until my haul video to be able to see it. But stupid fly. But when I brought it, I went up to him and said, "Hi, I listened to the podcast, a great fan of it, all that." And he was like, "Oh really?" And he gave me a free figure just by going up and saying how much I appreciate the Moonbase and Underbase, which I am forever in your debt. You didn't have to do that. It was great. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Really good. Thank you. I owe you a beer too next year. So that's like 4 people now I owe beers to, and it's not even, wow, next year yet? Jeez. Better start saving. No, but yeah, so after I purchased something off of Andy, I went back into the karaoke room, and that's where I met the second member of the Underbase crew, Amy, aka Lady Wreck, who it was just great because I met 3 of the Underbase members in like one after another. So we talked about More Than Meets the Eye, about what she thought of the latest issue, about what she thought the annual was going to be like, and whether the series is going to keep going on the high. It was great. It really was great. And then as I was walking out of the karaoke, there was Matt, aka King Grimlock, who I went up and said hi to. And he was like, "Oh, great to hear you listen to it. Thanks for the support." And then just as I was leaving, he went over to the karaoke and signed himself up for a song. Now, I don't know if he did sing the song. Hopefully he did. And hopefully someone has a video of that out there. But I would love to see that, because he's probably got a good voice. So I look forward to watching that video. And that was really it, really. After that, it was midnight. It was 12 o'clock, and I was like, oh, this is it. I'm probably going to go to bed now. Most people have gone to bed, so I was like, that's my day. I'm going to go to bed. So that was a Saturday. Quite a busy day. The Saturday was probably the better day of the two, because I don't know, it was just a little bit more special for me, meeting like these people and just chilling out with them. It was great. Sunday, had breakfast, went into the dealer's room when it opened, got some things signed by James Roberts and Nick Roche. That will be in my haul video. I'll explain about that later. Listened to the Eggheads, the Transformers Eggheads quiz they had. Now, if you don't know what Eggheads is, it's a TV show we have in Britain where basically a team of challengers who are just ordinary people have to go against these quiz masters who have like won all sorts of quiz shows and supposed to be very knowledgeable, known as the Eggheads. But in terms of at Auto Assembly, it was Nick Roche, James Roberts, and a couple of other writers on one team versus the fans like Chris McFeely and Mikey, and then a couple of more people. And it was great because you had four or 5 categories. You had Generation 1 movie, Dark of the Moon, Generation 1 movie soundtrack, Marvel UK covers, and then you had the final. And when it came down to the final, there was 3 members of each team left, because if you like lose your round, you get eliminated from the team and have to sit down. And the final went into sudden death, and it was it was close. Although to be fair, the fans did have Chris McFeely, who, as you'll probably know, edits the Transformers Wikipedia, so he knows quite a lot of knowledge about Transformers. And in the end, the fans won. They won. It was great. It went on for quite a long time because just kept spewing out questions. I mean, Dave, Carlo Prime, who was the quizmaster, if you like, he ran out of questions by the end of it. He had to go to his backup questions, which, to be fair to him, they all did a good job. It was great watching that. Then went around the dealer's room a bit more, bumped into Skullgrin again at nearly the exact same location as I did on the Saturday, which was weird. How weird is that? Strange. Talked for a bit, said how you doing? Great. Carried on around, bumped into Adam again, said, had a chat for a bit, then met Ray twice actually, on two different stalls. I saw what you brought, the landmine, the RID landmine. Good purchase, good purchase. And then it was the IDW comic panel, which was probably the highlight of Sunday. You had Livio Ramondelli, Nick Roche, James Roberts, and basically it was like a Q&A panel. We got to learn quite a few stuff. We got to learn about how the Wreckers is going to tie in with the new series, how certain characters might come across, and how certain thread lines and Wreckers aren't really going to take place in Modern ECI. We learned about, I believe it's issue 8 or 9, Shadowplay, and how that's going to be a 3-part story, and what's going to be in that. Quite a lot of things coming up in the More Than ECI comic, so I'm looking forward to that. But it was a great comic, and great comic. It was a great panel, and to be fair to Nick, Livio, and James, they answered all the questions really well. I mean, you had some questions which were quite awkward. You had some which were okay, but they answered them really well. And that was probably it. And after that finished, that was really the end of Sunday for me, because there was nothing much else. As I was leaving, I did say goodbye to Skullgrin, but I didn't get to say goodbye to Ray or Adam. So I hope you had a safe journey home, both of you. And I can't wait to see your hauls. To you too, Skullgrin. Hope you had a safe journey home. But yeah, and so that was it. That was pretty much auto assembly in its integrity for me. It was amazing. That words can't describe it. I know I've said amazing a lot in this video, but that's because I just can't describe to you in words how great it was. It was, words cannot describe it. You had to have been there to be able to feel it and to be able to live it. It was utterly, utterly amazing. And it's all thanks to, it's not just the plastic, it is thanks to the community. It's thanks to the people I met. Everyone was so friendly, so welcoming. Thank you very much. You made my first auto assembly very special. Thank you so, so much. And I feel like a part of me has been left there. That's how I feel. And when we got home, I felt a bit solemn, a bit sad that it was over. That's how much I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd enjoy it that much. I really did not. But so once again, thank you to all the people I met. Thank you for being so friendly. It's unbelievable. And yes, of course, I'm going to be there next year. I'm probably going to be there for, oh God, as many years as I can go from now on, because it's amazing. And it's a shame it only happens once a year. We need to meet up more. God, once a year.